Hey guys, in this video, I am talking all about my experience microdosing on the GLP-1 tirzepatide. I did compound tirzepatide. Tirzepatide is the active ingredient in mounjaro and zepbound. I did a total of 6 months on this medicine. I lost more than 30 pounds. My body feels so much healthier. I feel like I definitely had metabolic healing and hormonal healing through this, and I am so grateful for my journey. I wanted to make a video specifically talking about microdosing. I never went to what Eli Lilly, the creator of mounjaro and zepbound, would consider a therapeutic dose. I stayed on the 2.5, which most language from the manufacturer considers the starting or loading dose. I stayed on that for 4 months. That's when I lost most of my weight of the 30 pounds. And then I did 2 additional months on half doses. So 1.25, which was 12 units for me, which isn't even a dose on the name brands. It's such a small dose, but I did feel like I still saw benefits from it, and I still lost a couple more pounds on it. And I feel like my story is unique in that I was able to stay on such a low dose and saw benefits and weight loss from it. Everyone's story is unique. Not everyone will have the same experience. I'm just talking about my personal experience. Now, I would consider 2.5 a microdose because most of the language that Eli Lilly puts out says that a therapeutic dose is considered 5 or above. So most doctors are recommended to start their patients at 2.5 and then titrate up until they're consistently losing weight. So I would consider that 2.5 a microdose because I used it therapeutically. Also, those last 2 months, I was on a half of the starting dose, and so I would definitely consider that a microdose. I personally think there are a lot of benefits to microdosing. One, side effects will be a lot less. I am someone who did have side effects. I had some nausea, some fatigue, occasional GI upset, and so staying on a super low dose was beneficial to me because I was able to continue my therapy without having the side effects get worse. Let's talk about my therapeutic dose at the 2.5. Like I mentioned, Eli Lilly, the creator of the name brand, mainly views that 2.5 dose as just a loading dose. It gets your body used to it. So later on, when you're on what they consider a therapeutic dose, your side effects maybe won't be as bad. I lost weight consistently right away when I started the 2.5. If you're not familiar with my story, I was having all sorts of hormonal imbalance issues. I saw weight gain that I had never seen before in my life. My BMI was around 27, which, for some people that might not be bad, but for me, that was very unhealthy. That was very different to my body. I also have heart disease, so carrying around this extra water weight and this extra weight was just not great. And so I decided to do this therapy. I started on the 2.5, and that first week I actually lost 9 pounds, which normal weight loss on a GLP-1 is typically between 1 and 3 pounds. But if you lose a ton of weight in that first week, a lot of times that means you were carrying just a ton of water weight. So my body just thrived on this medication right away. On week 2 of my dose of the 2.5, I did start seeing side effects. I still saw 3 pounds lost, but I did start to feel some nausea and fatigue, a little GI upset. I just didn't quite feel myself days 2 through 4 after my shot. Nothing that made me want to quit the therapy. I was still so excited about this therapy and the benefits I was seeing with my body, but I wasn't quite myself. I didn't feel great those days. And then as I continued my therapy, I was losing usually between 1 and 3 pounds a week. When my month was coming up, I talked to my provider if we want to move up a dose, if we want to just stay. In discussion, we decided I would just stay at the 2.5 because I was still consistently losing weight on it and because I was having side effects. And I do want to mention that I was using this medication as a tool to totally change my lifestyle habits. I was really struggling with cravings and urges to binge and things. And with that gone, I was really able to change my diet to a high protein diet, a low carb diet, which is really great for PCOS. I added strength training to my exercise routine. Before I was doing really just cardio and not intense cardio or anything like walking uphill on a treadmill, but I added strength training, which is really, really great on this medication. It prevents muscle loss, it improves your metabolism, and it's really great for people who have PCOS. So I was making all these lifestyle changes while on the medication, which was just great, and I think also helped me maximize my time on the medication. So I decided to just stay at the 2.5. Second month, every week I consistently lost between 1 and 3 pounds a week. And then month 3 and month 4, I continued it. Towards the end of month 4, I was reaching my goal weight. I had lost 30 pounds. 30 pounds was really my goal. It was near 20% of my body weight, which was amazing. My body felt so much happier. My cycles were regulated. I did get an IUD also during this journey. I was just using this as a tool to help heal my hormones and help heal my metabolism, because just everything was just so wonky before I started on this medication. So I feel like I really was using it as a tool, along with a lot of other factors to help heal my body. So I'm at my goal weight, I'm talking to my provider, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to cold turkey get off the medication. I did feel like I wanted to try to get off the medication just because my story is unique. I don't have diabetes and I don't have chronic obesity. I had a major hormonal imbalance, and I had 2 babies that caused me to gain a bunch of weight, have a hard time losing it, and my body to be really struggling. So I wanted to know if once my metabolism and my hormones were healed and regulated, how I could do. Some people, I am fully aware, with chronic obesity or with diabetes may need to be long-term on this, and that is just fine. I personally wanted to see how I would do off of it, but I didn't want a cold turkey off of it. I wanted to give my body time to get used to some of the hunger coming back, to solidify some coping strategies, to get used to the food noise coming back, to continue my lifestyle changes without so much of this tool, because this tool has been so helpful. But I wanted to just kind of taper back, and because I was on the compound, I was able to do that. I love the compounds. If I even had the choice, if it was like 50-50, the same amount of money between the compound and the name brand, I would stick to the compound because I love how much freedom the compound gives you, if that makes sense. So that 5th month, I dropped to a half dose. This is truly a microdose because it's not even offered by Eli Lilly, the name brand. And that month on the 1.25, the half of the starting loading dose, I did start to feel more hunger, and I did start to have like a little more cravings, and I did have more food noise, and I was thinking about food more. And what I did was I just took that month to just really solidify my coping strategies. Some of these coping strategies I developed was, you know what, I'm going to have significant portions of protein at every meal. And then my hunger is really controlled throughout the day. I also do intermittent fasting. So having an eating window when I know I'm allowed to eat and when I try not to eat is so helpful to me, because within my eating window, I can only eat so much, especially if I'm eating really high protein. I continued my exercise routine that now included strength training. I do Pilates once a week, a whole body weight workout once a week, and then every other day, I try to be active, whether that is walking uphill on a treadmill or doing the stair stepper, but I try to keep my body as active as possible. And I also try to give myself a lot of grace, not guilt myself, not throw in the towel. If once a week I want to have a sweet treat, it's fine. If once a week intermittent fasting doesn't work out, it's fine. If once a week a meal is not hitting my protein goals or hitting my nutrition goals, I don't like throw away the day. I just start fresh the next meal, if that makes sense. So month 5 was all about solidifying coping strategies while still having a little bit of that tool. And then month 6, I spaced out. So I did every other week that half dose, every other week that 1.25. So what it felt like to me was the week I had my shot, I still had that little bit of help with the hunger and the urges and everything. And then the second week, I was pretty on my own. I didn't really feel much appetite suppression, and I really just tried to lean into my coping strategies. I did kind of like how I did that because I had a little help, then no help, a little help, then no help, a little help. And then I've actually been off about a month now, which is crazy. I like how I did that last month, but I also think it would have been interesting to drop to like a quarter dose, like maybe just like 7 units or something for that last month. But I don't know. I'm also happy with how I did it. So far in my almost a month off the medication, I've completely maintained my weight. I still probably have some medication built up in my system because I was on it 6 months. So I don't think I'm like completely off of it or anything. But I will say leaning into my coping strategies has been very helpful. I don't feel like totally overwhelmed by cravings and food noise and everything. I think my time on the medication helped kill some of those cravings, which is really helpful. I will say around my cycle, it gets a little bit harder. I have more urges to overeat, and intermittent fasting is a little bit harder, but sometimes I just give myself a little grace. I've been reading up about intermittent fasting and women specifically, and it can be really beneficial for women to even just eat a little higher carb and not intermittent fast like right before their period and when their period is starting. So that's interesting. I have also been using the Lumen, and it's super cool. It's a metabolism breath device. So you breathe into it and it'll tell you based on your CO2 levels if your metabolism is mainly burning fat or carbs. So this is like so helpful for intermittent fasting, because I do between like 14 and 16 hours. So at 14 hours, I can blow into it. It can be like you're burning 65% fats and the rest carbs. And then if I want to push it another hour, then usually I'm burning way more fat after that hour. Around 15 hours, I am almost always burning mostly fat, which is awesome. Its app can also like suggest a meal plan for the day. You can track your macros in it. It's been super helpful. Okay, that was my experience. Not everyone's experience will look the same. A lot of people will have to titrate up to see weight loss. I personally was able to stay on these low doses and saw weight loss and saw benefits, and I just wanted to share my personal experience. I know others will be different. I'd love to hear about your journey on a GLP-1 in the comment section. Please fill me in. I'd love to chat. If you have any questions for me, feel free to leave it in the comment section. Please give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. I'd love if you subscribed if you have not already, and I will see you in my next video.